Yeah. So the conversion therapy was intense because it was, okay, let's search your history and let's figure out what damaged you, what broke you. And so that is the premise that you go into every single session is, I'm broken and I'm here to be fixed.
Exactly.
And you can only do that for so long before you've convinced yourself, I'm broken and I'm unfixable because I've been doing this for so long and it hasn't worked. And that's the big mental mess that is conversion therapy. Is you have people who have paid thousands of dollars and the only end result they get is that they're broken and can't be fixed. Which is why the suicide rate is very, very high.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
Yeah.
I'm so glad you didn't choose that route.
Me too. Me too. Every day I am grateful to have 2 feet on the ground.
Wow. So what happened after the 6 months?
Well, so when I started, I was told this will probably take 2 months. And 2 months went by and it still wasn't fixed. I was still thinking about her every night. And my therapist was like, there must be something you're not telling me. And there was. I was 15 years old and I had been assaulted and I had never spoken of it. Ever. Not to my parents, not to the police, not to my friends throughout the years, not to my husband of 17 years. No one knew about what happened. But I was desperate. And so I shared that with him and he was overjoyed. Like, oh, this is it. This is what makes you think that you're attracted to women. We just need to heal this. And so the therapy technique that he used, and I use therapy in air quotes, but it is kind of legit. He takes you through a breathing technique that it doesn't like put you in a trance or it's not like hypnosis, but it does alter your brain in a way that you can recall things that you had totally forgotten about. You know, memories come back so much more intense. You smell things, you see things, you hear things that you had totally forgotten about. And so that's what I would do 4 days a week. I'd walk into that office and I would do the breathing technique and I would replay that scenario that happened over and over and over and over again. And, you know, you do it where you can change the ending, or you do it where you can, right, you can say what you would have said, you know, like all those things. And man, that was hard for 4 months to replay that over and over again. And at that time, what was happening was the Brett Kavanaugh hearings and the Me Too movement was happening. And we were seeing all these statistics that 3 out of 4 American women have been assaulted in their lifetime. And I had, just previous to that, I had come very close to taking my own life. And I was very blessed that I got help very quickly. And they immediately diagnosed me with anxiety and depression and immediately gave me medication to help. And I started sleeping for the first time in years. And I would wake up and I would start to see things clearly and I could start to connect dots. And so as the Me Too movement was happening and I was reading and of course getting really triggered because what happened to Dr. Blasey Ford was very similar to what happened to me. And so that was hugely triggering, as I'm sure it was for like every woman in the country, right? Yeah. And I remember sitting on my couch watching her testimony and then watching some of the talking heads afterwards, right? And hearing all the statistics and finally putting the dots together. 3/4 of American women have been assaulted in their lifetime. 3/4 of American women are not gay. Like 5% of American women are gay. This doesn't tie out. And then to take it a step further and to think about my very good friends who have gone through their own trauma with men, and some of them absolutely horrific for years and years with family members. And yet here they are as adults having functional relationships with their husbands and being attracted to their husbands and other men. And realizing if anyone should be gay, it should be them. Yeah. And they are really not. They're not not tempted at all to go down that road. And that was huge for me to realize, okay, this doesn't tie out. This can't work. And I think I'm done with this conversion therapy stuff. Yeah.
And then you were done. So, and then what? You went to the therapist and you said, I'm done? And you went to your husband and your bishop and you said, you're done.
Well, kind of. So I told my therapist, this isn't working and I think I need to be done. And he said, let's try to get one. We need to just try, because I know you want to preserve your marriage. So let's get your husband in here. Let's do a group session, see if we can work anything out. And it was within like 10 minutes of that session starting that like my eyes were kind of open, because I knew I was there. This was like my last ditch Hail Mary. Let's make this work. And within 10 minutes of the session, I realized, oh, we are not on the same page. And I don't think I'm ever going to be intimate with you again. And this is not fair. It's not fair to you. It's not fair to me. It's not fair to our kids who are learning from us what a functional relationship is supposed to be. And okay, so the marriage is done. And then I just took things very much one step at a time. Like I didn't even think about religion. It was just, okay, it's time to get a divorce. And wow, that's not failure. That's actually the responsible, mature thing to do here. Okay. And once I was able to remove that judgment of what divorce meant, then I was able to progress and move forward. Filed for divorce. Moved into my own home for the first time in my entire life. I had my own master bedroom and bathroom, and it was amazing.
Isn't it? Did you just jump on the bed?
Yeah.
I bet.
Yeah, I left my tampon box out, like the whole thing. It was great.
Yeah.
So then once I was there, I was in my rental and feeling so safe. You know, after 17 years of marriage, that master bedroom had become kind of a battleground emotionally, you know? He had needs and I had needs, and we were like, why can't we figure this out? And it just wasn't working. And so to have such a safe place for myself was life-changing, because at that point I was then able to pray for the first time in months and months and months, and to reestablish that relationship with the divine, and to hear very clearly that my path was switching directions, that I no longer needed to be in this faith community, that I could still have a great relationship with God, and I didn't have to be tied to that. And that was, oh, wow. You know, people call it a faith crisis, and it definitely is. Religion is like, it goes throughout your whole brain, you know, and because it's not just like what you think about God and what you think about the afterlife. In a high demand religion, it's also about what you wear and what you don't wear, and what you eat and drink and what you don't eat and drink, and the words you say and the words you don't say, right? Like it permeates through all these different parts of your brain. And so